Hi, thank you for joining me today. So the first question is, can you talk a little bit about your work and like kind of introduce yourself as a professor in the field?
Okay. My name is MD Shamim Ahamed. I'm working as an assistant professor in the Department of Biological and Agricultural Engineering at UC Davis. In terms of my work, we work on the indoor farming, like the greenhouse or the indoor vertical farming for the food and crop production. Mostly my lab work on the energy efficiency side. The any indoor farming system is very energy intensive, so we try to work to reduce the energy consumption and increase the sustainability of the indoor food production, mostly with the renewable energy integration to reduce the carbon footprint.
Okay, awesome. So can you talk about kind of what sparked your interest in like this field, like of kind of renewable energy, and how did you begin to get involved in it?
Um, if I would like to talk about the when the indoor farming industry, when I first started working in this domain, I see that many people are working in many different dimensions. Like they try to work on the how to grow the crops in indoor farming with different crops, different nutrient treatment, different types of the management of the crops. But when I realized that not only me, like it's kind of well established information that the energy is one of the biggest barrier for the sustainability of the indoor farming industry because you're using the artificial lighting or to some point some additional lightings beside the natural light to grow the crops in an indoor control setting. And in that case, like the energy is kind of the one of the biggest challenge to reduce the operational cost. And I thought like, okay, that could be the one of the area that need to be further explored to find the solution to reduce the energy cost as well as like what could be the approach to integrate the renewable energy system because just energy reduction could be one option for reducing the carbon footprint. At the same time, you cannot make it kind of almost a small number that's could be negligible, but it's a significant amount of number will be still remaining, although you are reducing the cost. So from that perspective, if you can integrate the renewable energy system, that could help you to reduce the carbon footprint.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I think this is definitely a super important field and like you said, like it's really important for sustainability and like indoor farming and things like that. So can you talk about your major and college experience? Like did you begin to kind of work in this domain in college or was it like as a grad student? Yeah.
Um, During my college, like my undergraduate, I had no exposure for indoor farming. Like, yeah, the country where I'm from, like that was traditionally or still like kind of more on the open field agriculture. Like in this indoor farming industry is not kind of for commercialization still yet. Um, that exposure first came to me when I started my graduate study, like my doing my PhD program.
Okay, cool. So can you talk about kind of how you went from being a PhD student to then becoming a professor to where you are now? Like, was it kind of like a direct path or was it a little bit more like curvy? Like, kind of what was your career path like from PhD to now?
Okay, from PhD to now, like for sure, like when even after finishing my undergraduate and master's degree, I started the teaching at the university level as a lecturer. So from this time, like or even like from my early life, like I was really kind of passionate about teaching and this profession. So that's why I started my teaching career after my graduation. And then when I was planning for doing the PhD because I thought like if I really would like to be in this profession in this academic career, then I need to do a PhD degree to kind of develop my skill for a particular domain so that I can focus on that. And then I started my PhD in 2013, and after finishing the PhD, I realized that okay, probably like I should develop more expertise, like the postdoc and some industrial experience, and based on that, I was looking for the faculty position because that was always my one of the best choice for my career path, and I was trying to apply in different university. Unfortunately, after the interview, I got the job. So that's, as I said, like I was always looking for the academic profession as my career destination.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think it's really cool that you were able to kind of like get into teaching right after graduation and do what you wanted to do. Yeah, I think that's awesome. Can you talk about some challenges that you faced in pursuing like your research or like becoming a professor or even like just going into like the indoor farming domain? I know you mentioned a little bit about how you didn't really have exposure to it when you were an undergrad. So can you just talk about some challenges that you faced in pursuing your career?
I think the challenges in an academic career is very different. The first things for sure, like to get the job, to kind of develop your research career. So it's a very competitive domain. Any job is competitive, but in this area, at least at this time, many people are doing the PhD, and they or most of them are looking for the academic job or the research position. So from that, for sure, this is one of the challenge that other like after finishing your PhD is that is the chance of getting faculty position is quite low. So from that perspective, that was one of the biggest challenge. What could be the uh, some of the kind of profile that you can build up that will help to kind of be one of the top in this profession so that like you can get this job. That's one challenge. And another biggest challenge like um for starting your research careers, like you have to apply for the funding, getting the funding. Those are one of the biggest challenge also for any academic careers to establish or to develop their academic profile.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have any advice for people who like are kind of going through those same things like in their careers, like the challenges that you mentioned and how they can overcome them or like kind of how you like came through those challenges?
So is that like the suggestion just for overcome the challenge or just overall suggestion for this profession?
Um, kind of both. Like I guess like you mentioned the challenges. So if someone is trying to go into like this type of career, like in academia, and they're facing like similar challenges, like what kinds of things did you do to pursue like your career and then face the challenges?
So one suggestion would be if any uh, person would like to take this profession as their future destination, I would like to say that um, they have to love the research because this is little bit different than other profession. Sometimes you have to work like kind of 24 hours, 7 days, like those kind of things. It's why I said 24/7 means like there is no kind of regular office time for this work. So that's like if you don't love your job or whatever you are doing, then it sometimes could be overwhelming. So from that perspective, if you really love the research, if you really enjoy the works that you are doing, then this profession will be kind of very enjoyable for you. Otherwise, it's gonna be challenging for sure. And after starting the position, the one of the suggestion that I would like to provide to establish your connections, networking, know the state of work so far in this field where your expert is aligned. So those are the key suggestion will be like know the domain and also know the people who are working around and try to be updated to kind of start the cutting edge research program.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I think that's really good advice. And just to kind of wrap up, what would be some advice that you offer to younger students who are like go either going into undergrad or are still in high school, in terms of like getting exposed to different fields and kind of who are interested in pursuing academia in a more niche field like you're in?
So one thing I would like to suggest the young generation, especially the high school, senior high school student or the even the undergraduate student. So as a faculty, even I always try to work with the undergraduate student and the high school student. In my lab, even I have almost 10 undergraduate student, two or three high school student. Why I think it's important because this will be the future workforce either for academia or even for the research and development. So if they have to some point some exposure to, or working experience to work with a research environment, so that can helps to kind of identify their future career, either do that really enjoy those kind of work, especially the research environment. And from that experience, that can help to kind of fix to their future career path, because they can see that what the profession or the lifestyle looks like for the academic profession or as a researcher. So I will always will recommend, like, if they get a chance, so they should kind of be involved in a research environment, in a university level lab environment, so that they can make the right decision in their future career.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really good advice. And I think it definitely is really important for like high school students to kind of get exposed to this stuff when they're younger. It's through like research like you mentioned. And yeah, I think it's really great that like your lab has opportunities for like undergrads and high school students to get involved because yeah, it is really important. So yeah, thank you so much for taking the time today to do this interview. Um, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.